Today we're going to look at finding the area of a polygon, specifically of either a quadrilateral or a triangle, just for today. You can find the area of all the others, but we're just going to look at those two today. First of all, I want to remind you that finding the area is like finding out how much carpet is in the room on the floor or how much grass is out in your fenced-in field or backyard. So the picture might look like this. If this was your room and this was your trim area, which is your perimeter, everything that's flat on the floor is when we're trying to find the area. The same thing here. If this was your yard or your room, all the flat on the floor, the carpet or the grass, is where you're trying to find the area. Remember, the outside edge is the perimeter. So again, all the inside flat is the area, and again, the inside flat area. So I've colored what it looks like when we're trying to find the area. So I want to give a little bit of background here, just so you'll understand some things. Sometimes you have mathematical formulas and you really don't know why they are there. So I want to show you here at the top, both of these are parallelograms. So they have sets of parallel sides on either opposite sides where they'll never touch. So if this extended out forever, these lines, top and bottom, would never touch. And if the side ones extended out forever, they would never touch. That's a parallelogram. I want you to see if we were measuring something and needed to have something more precise. And this is the same parallelogram, I just cut it out of a different color. If we cut the corner and move that piece of land over here, it's the same piece, and we moved it right to the end, I won't be able to get it right smack up on it. You can see that when I cut one corner and put it at the end, I have an exact rectangle. So the amount of area in this fenced-in yard and this fenced-in yard are the same. The yard just has a different shape. And when I change this like this, I all of a sudden have a right angle here. I didn't have a right angle up here, but in this piece of property or in this family room, I do. So I wanted you to see that. I also wanted you to see this rectangle down below. Here is another rectangle, and what I wanted you to see is if you cut it in half, you would have a triangle. You can do it in any shape. This happens to be a right triangle because it has the right angle symbol here. But what I wanted you to understand, because I was really a lot older before I really got this concept, that half of a rectangle is a triangle. So I wanted you to see that. And I wanted to give these some names as we did. Along the line at the bottom, this can become your base. And if you have a right angle going straight up to there, this becomes your height. Same thing here. This is your base, and this is your height when we're looking at this. And really, this is your base also, and if I hadn't cut this piece of property off, but I had just drawn a straight line down, wherever that right angle is, that line becomes my height. So wherever the straight right angle is, that becomes my height. So again, I wanted you to remember when we were trying to find the area, it's all that. So there's a couple of ways we can look. So let's look here at this smaller sheet, and I've drawn out some pieces of land or room to find the area. So if I wanted to, I could count. These are all in little boxes. I could count each box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that one is 24. I could go over here and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So all together, this is 16. This next one is not going to be as easy because it's got those angles. But I could start 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 24, 25, 26. And then I have these half pieces. 26, 27. And then I've got 28, those are half, 29, 30. So this becomes 30 for that measurement. Now there is an easier way to do this. Especially if I had a big, huge backyard, I couldn't go out there and count every little inch or every little foot. I want to have a way to do that. Remember, this is my base and this is my height. What can you see between 4 and 6? That's 24. Let's look at this one. This is my base and it's 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's 2 height. What is the connection between 2 and 8 for 16? On this one, I can count across. I have to make my right angle to find what it is. So my height is 3 and my base is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all the way across, and so my base is 10. What's the connection between 3 and 10 to give me 30? I think you already know. I think you've already figured it out. That if I multiply the base times the height, I get 24. If I multiply it here, 8 times 2, I get 16. If I do 10 times 3, I get 30. So I want you to see the rule, the mathematical rule for that. And that is to find the area of a quadrilateral. And that could be a square, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a rectangle, all the different ones we've named. All you have to do is multiply the base times the height. Anytime you know the base or the height, that's what you do. To find the area of a triangle, it's very similar, but remember a triangle is half the size of a rectangle. So to find the area of a triangle, it is half times the base times the height. So I want to look at just a couple of examples. Remember, area of a quadrilateral, base times height, triangle, half of the base times the height. So let's look at a couple of examples. If I had told you that this here was 8, the base was 8 inches, and the height was 4 inches, this is a quadrilateral, I would simply multiply the base times the height. And I have to say inch times inch. It's going to be a squared unit answer. So 4 inches times 8 inches equals 32 inches squared. It's a square off. Those are how many squares, basically, if you kind of can remember it like that. If we come down to the triangle, let's say the space is 5 inches, and let's say the height is 4 inches. Remember, the formula is half times the base times the height. So the base times the height is half times 5 times 4. Remember, when you multiply, you can multiply in any order, okay? That is a mathematical rule. So I'm going to multiply these together first because I can do that easier. So I have 1/2 times, what's 5 times 4? I hope you know it, 20. And if I say 1/2 times 20, that's really 1/2 times 20 over 1. 1/2 times 20 over 1 equals 1 times 20 is 20, 2 times 1 is 2. So that's 20 divided by 2 equals 10. And it's 10 inches squared. Whatever your unit of measurement is, if these had been centimeters, it would be centimeters squared. If it had been feet, it would be feet squared. The last quick thing I want to show you is if perhaps you knew your backyard was this big, you knew the area was, let's say you knew the area was 45 feet squared, and you knew the fence line here was 9 feet, how could you figure out how big that is? Well, if we multiply these two to get this one, if we know the answer, then we'd simply divide to find out how long that height was. So I'd have 45 divided by 9 equals 5. So this would be a 5-foot height. So if you know the area, then you can divide to find your answer. And you're probably going to see a problem like that this week. So go back and review this, remembering the basic rules here. The area of a quadrilateral, base times height. The area of a triangle is the base is 1/2 of the base times the height, or cutting it in two.